Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to balance, the harder balancing can become? Well, today we're going to explore a different approach, one that I found incredibly helpful in my own practice, allowing ourselves to use support. In this soft flow practice, we'll work toward half moon pose, a beautiful dynamic balancing posture that opens the hips, it stretches the hamstrings, and it challenges us to find steadiness while everything is moving and changing. And here's the good news. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. We're going to use the wall and a yoga block to give your body the support it needs so you can slow down, explore the shape, and actually feel what half moon is supposed to feel like. By the end of this practice, my hope is that you'll feel more open, more balanced, and much more confident in your half moon pose. And maybe you'll discover that sometimes the best way to find your balance is to let yourself be supported. If you enjoy practicing with me, please like this video and leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support these classes and allows us to keep practicing together. So grab a mat, a block, and find a little space near a wall. That's it. Roll credits. Let's begin. Let's begin our practice in seated. Once you've found your comfortable seat, be sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Feel the lengthening in your spine, and we'll start with a few deep breaths. A full breath in, filling up your lungs, and exhale to empty. These slow, long, steady breaths just helps us to tune into our bodies, allows us to fully arrive in the moment, to be present and connected as we step into our practice together. So again, breathing in fully and completely, and exhale. Good. Do that a few more times. You can do this with your eyes opened or your eyes closed. Listening to the sound of your breath and feeling how the breath just resonates through your entire body. Feel that calming effect. Good. A couple more breaths. Let's add a simple movement here, just to wake up our arms and shoulders. We'll inhale, extend the arms out and up. Big stretch, reach high. And exhale, extend the arms out and down. So there is an effort as you extend the arms. Feel as if you'll reach the walls on either side of you and towards the ceiling. So a big stretch. Good. A few more times. And just notice how that feels in your body, that lengthening down through the sides of your body, how this feels in your shoulders. Very active hands and fingers too. All right, one more time. Very nice. Let's go ahead and warm up our spines, our hips, so you can come to your hands and knees. Of course, I like to use a blanket here for some extra padding. Starting in this tabletop posture, as we inhale, we tip the pelvis back, feel the belly button drop, creates that arch in the back. Open the heart and lift your chin. That's our inhale for cow. Exhale, tuck the pelvis under, rounding the back. Belly button draws up towards spine and chin to chest. That's cat. Let's do that a few more times, just really flowing and breathing at your own pace here, noticing these sensations in your body as well. Nice way to warm up your spine, getting some mobility back into the hips. As we get into half moon pose, it's a balancing posture, also opens the hips quite well, and a great stretch for your hamstrings. We'll do a little bit of warm up for those things before we get into the full posture. All right, finish the breath that you're on and take one more. And just pause here in a neutral tabletop posture. Let's start with the hamstring stretch, and we'll just do that seated. So you might sit back here, and sit off to the side and extend the legs out in front of you. Here, just working into staff pose in a simple seated forward fold. So straight legs, I like to flex the feet just to keep the legs straight and active. Hands on the ground by your hips, pushing down in order for you to feel the full length of your spine. And then maybe roll the shoulders back. And one last bit, squeezing the shoulder blades together to activate your upper back muscles for support. And a good exhale to connect to your core center. Even this is a wonderful hamstring stretch, just holding here. We'll add a simple fold. So let's free the hands. We'll inhale, extend the arms into the air. Exhale, a simple hinge forward. Don't have to go too far. And then go ahead and bring the hands down to your shins here. Then inhale, extend through the spine at this new angle we've created. Exhale, pull belly in for that added support. And one step down the legs, hinging forward. I'm already feeling a good stretch in the hamstrings, even in the back. I'm going to soften this up just a little bit by bending the knees, lowering the chin, allowing the back to round. That just gives you a little bit more space to kind of melt into here. We'll take just several breaths. Just continuing to feel this nice gentle stretch that's happening through the legs. And that's one thing we really want to emphasize in our soft flow practices, that you don't have to go too fast or you don't have to push or force yourself into any pose. And for something like a hamstring stretch, find a position and even the use of props to help support your body so that you can hold the pose, the body can feel relaxed, and you'll gain the benefit from the position. About 3 more breaths here. All right, then free your hands and extend them outward. We'll inhale, lift ourselves up, reaching into the air, creating a capital L shape with the body. And then exhale, bring the hands back down. This is called staff pose. Just hands on the ground, nice and tall in the spine, lengthen legs. Stay seated for a moment and come to cobbler's pose or bound angle, because this is a nice hip release as well. Just bring the soles of the feet together. You can just scoop up the feet or just hold on to your ankles or shins, whatever's most comfortable for you. And just sit up nice and tall. Again, a fully extended spine. The exhale, you might hinge forward just a little bit. You don't have to go too far. The back can be straight, or you might round the back. Just like we did that seated forward fold, we could hold this posture for some time if you'd like to. But just an initial opening of the hips. We're going to get into a simple flow that will also help open the hips and then guide our way into our balancing posture of half moon. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then just rise back up if you're folded, re-extend the spine. Just pause for a second in stillness. All right, let's return to hands and knees. But here, let's set our blanket to the side. Let's make our way into downward facing dog. First, let's step the hands forward. Spread out your fingers. Press the palms flat into the mat. Strong, straight arms. Tuck your toes. Let's do one more cat-cow here. We'll inhale into cow. That's the back bend. And exhale into cat. Hold cat pose. Using this sensation now to lift the knees off the ground. Send the hips into the air. Head and chest dip between the arms. Make some adjustments with your feet and hands. And here's our downward facing dog. Let's go through a warrior series so we can get into warrior 2, which is also a great hip opener. Let's inhale, extend right leg up. Don't worry about the height. Exhale, bend the right knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your whole upper body forward so your shoulders are over your wrists, setting the foot down as best as you can behind the right wrist here. I'm going to turn that back leg so the heel is on the ground. Kind of steady yourself back to put more weight and pressure into that back foot. If your blocks happen to be handy here,
You can use them to help you rise up right about here, just to start that good extension of spine. Even hands up to your thigh. More extension, more lift, and then maybe freeing your hands and rising up. Be in Warrior One for a moment. Holding here so you can start to feel the hip flexor stretch. We really want that as we get into our featured pose today. We'll take a breath in and exhale, open up to a Warrior Two. I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider, make some adjustments with the feet here. Nice lunge, great opening in the inner legs. Tucking the pelvis under so your tailbone feels like it's pointing straight down towards the ground. Let's go into a side angle pose because this is also a great feature that will help us for our half moon. So basically, if we take side angle pose, this is side angle, and then balanced on this front foot, essentially we'd be in half moon. So we're almost there. All right, let's take a breath in. Exhale, a careful turn and fold. Hands come back down. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Press hands into the ground so you can slide right foot back. You'll be in plank pose. Soft knees, hips to sky. Return to downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. So we'll inhale, extend the left leg up into the air. On the exhale, we'll bend this knee, bring it in towards chest or chin, shoulders over wrists, foot right behind the left hand. Right heel turns to the ground. Bring in those blocks if you'd like to help you start to lift up. Feel the initial extending of spine. Walk up to your thigh. Fully extend here. Once you feel pretty balanced, let's go ahead and finish rising up into our Warrior One. Holding for a moment with a good extension of the arms. Nice lunge in front here. Hip flexor stretch on the other side. Inhale and exhale, open up to a Warrior Two. We're going to just make some adjustments with the feet. I'm taking my stance a little bit wider, adjusting the legs so I can experience that good inner leg stretch. Tucking tailbone down, it's pointing towards the floor. Tall upper body, outstretched arms. Let's move into our side angle, which of course you can modify. Left hand in this case can be on your thigh, or right arm extends into the air. I like to call this a sideways pose. And I say that because as we get into our half moon pose, I also consider that a sideways pose. All right, let's take a breath in. Exhale, careful turn and fold. Returning to the earth. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press fully into the ground with the hands. You can pull that left foot back to meet the other. There's our plank pose. I'm just going to come down to my knees and sit back briefly into hero. Alrighty, so my mat is here, but I'm going to shift a little bit over towards the wall, and we're going to be using the wall as another prop for our flow. So I'm going to bring my blocks over. Let's return to downward facing dog. Be sure you're near a wall. I'm just a few inches away from the wall. Starting with the right leg, same sequence. I'm going to extend the right leg up, bend the knee, send it forward, landing behind the right hand. Left heel turns to the earth. Start to rise up. You can use the blocks here. Extending through spine. Warrior One. I'm pretty close to the wall here. And that's what we want. And then opening up to Warrior Two. Making an adjustment here. Now, instead of just a regular side angle, this right hand is going to go down to the blocks. So I'm actually going to stack my blocks up a little higher. Right there. Shifting, rotate, place the hand on the block. Make sure they're pretty stable here. A little launch from this back foot, a little push and lift, and then fall against the wall. And once you kind of are here, then we can kind of fine tune the pose. So we got some balance because we got the block, we have the wall, and then we can just fully extend the standing leg, even flex the foot that's in the air, extended left leg, fall completely against the wall, left hand in this case, right up into the sky. So if we were doing this freely without the wall, then of course we would certainly be in a balancing pose. And we are here too, we just have the assist of the wall. You can probably feel the hamstring stretch, and probably in both legs, and the hip opener. Another one of those sideways poses. All right, this is how we'll get out of the pose. Kind of melt a little bit, soften the knees. I'm going to turn towards the floor. I can unstack my blocks here, kind of pull away from the floor or from the wall, and bring that left knee in, little rounded spine. Bring the foot down to the ground next to the other. Here's a forward fold. I'm going to move my blocks forward, bring the hands back down. Actually, I'm going to stack my blocks so they're ready to go for the other side. Stepping back into plank pose. Now I actually need to turn around, so I'm going to turn around in a second. There we go. So downward facing dog. We'll inhale, extend left leg into the air, left foot forward, setting up for a warrior one, climbing up to the blocks, the thigh, extend the spine, reach out with the arms. There's our warrior one. Open up to your warrior two. Make some adjustments. Make sure you're close enough to the wall, but not too close, because you want to be able to fall up against it. There's our warrior two. Our modified side angle, by bringing the hand to the block, and that back foot's going to help us kind of launch up to balance on this left foot. Little push, and then fall against the wall. And then fine tune. Push into the block, push down into the ground with the left foot, strong straight leg, lifting this back leg. Doesn't have to be as high as this. It can even be lower if that feels more comfortable, but do activate the foot, fall up against the wall, and just see how much of your body actually makes contact with the wall here. Nice opening. You can feel all that's happening in the body. Great hip opener. We've got the balance, even some core activation because of the balance. Hamstring stretch. Okay, we'll carefully kind of peel away from the wall, melting down to a forward fold. Just going to make my way over to the mat here. Here's our forward fold. It's just to a halfway lift or extended spine. Exhale, hands to the ground and just step back into plank pose. And then you can bring the knees back down to the ground. Now, of course, you can repeat these sequences. And when you're complete, you just can come back to seated or even lying down in Shavasana. So finding that comfortable position, return to breath. Feel the body steady. And one last movement together. We'll inhale, extend the arms into the air, and exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take one more breath here, in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.